when you're playing solo, it's not a bad idea to have a whole lot of Paul McCartney in your song list. He just goes over really well for any number of reasons, and his songs really have a lot of different sounds. I'm living in Indiana these days, but I'm actually in Okie. I'm from out west, and this song has this wonderful Western sound, especially because of the acoustic guitar leads that Danny Lane put into the song. So I'm going to present it, and then I'm going to take the song apart for you so that you can develop a version of this really fantastic Western-sounding song that's just great for any number of venues. It works well with rock, it works well with country, and it works really well on the restaurant circuit. So this is Paul McCartney's "Deliver Your Children" from the London Town album. Well, the rain was a-falling and the ground turned to mud. I was watching all the people running from the flood, so I started to praying, though I ain't no praying man, for the Lord to come a helping, knowing He'd understand. Deliver your children to the good, good life. Give them peace and shelter and a fork and knife. A shining light in the morning and a light at night. If a thing goes wrong, you better make it right. Well, I had me a woman. She was good and clean. She spent all the day with the washing machine, but when it came to the loving, she was never around. She was out getting dirty all over town. Deliver your children to the good, good life. Give them peace and shelter and a fork and knife. A shining light in the morning and a light at night. If a thing goes wrong, you better make it right. Well, I was low on money and my truck broke down. I was on my way to the lost and found, so I took it to a dealer. I said, make it run. Well, I ain't got no money, but I got me a gun. I said, you robbed me before, so I'm a-robbing you back. And if it don't set you straight, it'll put you on the right track. Well, I ain't no devil, and I ain't no saint, but I can tell a dealer by the color of his paint. Deliver your children to the good, good life. Give them peace and shelter and a fork and knife. A shining light in the morning and a light at night. If a thing goes wrong, you better make it right. Deliver your children to the good, good life. Give them peace and shelter and a fork and knife. A shining light in the morning and a light at night. If a thing goes wrong, you better make it right. Well, if you want good eggs, you gotta feed that hen. And if you wanna hear some more, well, I'll sing it again. There's nothing really difficult about Deliver Your Children until you try to do the rhythm guitar lines and the lead guitar lines and sing the thing at the same time. It can be a challenging song to sing just because it's Paul McCartney and he tends to sing in a very high register. And just when you think he's singing high, he'll go quite a bit higher. The trick is, as I've talked about before, if you've listened to what I've had to say about Paul McCartney, is you have to really learn how to unify your range, and Paul McCartney is a master of that. So in other videos about Paul McCartney songs, I've talked about the vocal technique necessary to be able to cover his music and sound good, so that you don't sound like you're constantly flipping back and forth between falsetto and chest voice. You have to unify your range so it sounds like one voice from bottom to top. Deliver Your Children is in A minor. Most of the song is. There's a part of it that modulates up to D minor. So he just starts with this nice little thing where he's playing the bass line on the guitar, which is a fairly standard thing too. And then you got this nice little Denny Lane lick that kicks the thing off, and this is the signature riff that shows up several times in the song. So I'm just going to play that really slowly for you. It happens, starts on the A string, from open to 2 to 3, then D string open to 2, and then it jumps to the 4th fret of the G string, open, 2. So the 2nd fret of the D string to the G string, 4, 5, 4, 2, open, and then on the D string, 4, 5, 4, open, 2. Now I'm going to play that really slowly so you can pick it up. There are a bunch of different ways you can play that. You don't have to fret it the same way that I fret it, and you'll still get exactly the same melody. I'm just doing it the way that's convenient for me. If you've learned your scales a little bit differently, you might want to spell that out differently. It doesn't really much matter so long as you get that melody. As a matter of fact, when I've watched Denny Lane play it, he actually uses the open B string for it. So that's the signature riff of the song. And then you've got these little riffs that show up during the melody. So, well, rain was a fall, and the ground turned to mud. So it's B, A minor to C, G. Watching all the people running from the E minor to D, and then back to the A minor to C to G, A minor, E minor, A minor, and then you got this little riff here. So it's just first and open on the B string, 2 open, back to 2 on the G string. So, and then the E minor. And you can spell out any number of ways. The way that the solution that I've got for you, after you state the E minor, is on the G string, 4, 2, open, 4, and 2 on the D string. But you could actually do that. You could do it with the open B string if you want. So again. And then here's this little riff that will show up several times. So that's, you state the A minor chord, and then you're basically just taking each string, play it from the position that you've got it in the A minor, and then open. And then on the A string, it's 3, 2, open, 2, 3, open on the D string, and then you're into the chorus. So. Deliver your children to the good life. And this is something Paul McCartney does all the time. He'll walk a G major down to an E minor, and then C major down to an A minor. And then he does the G major down to the A minor again and again. So you've got on the E string, open, 2, 3, open on the A string, and then state the E minor chord. You better make it right. Well, I have mirrors leads into the second verse. And the way that I've solved that riff is third fret on the E string, open, and then 3, 1, open, 1, open on the B string, 2, open on the G string, 2, open on the D string, 2, 3, 2, open on the A string, and then you're into the second verse. So it's let me slow that down. And that riff will show up again later on. One of the things that's difficult, none of these riffs are difficult, but there's several riffs that are extremely similar, and so you really have to get each riff under your fingers, or you end up playing the wrong riff at the wrong time. So I got me a woman, she was good and clean, she spent all the day with the washing machine. So that's a fun little riff there in the middle of the second verse. So it'll you'd be tempted to go to the E minor to the D, or at least to go to the E minor before playing that riff, and it doesn't. You'll actually go straight from the A minor chord into that little lead riff, which starts on the 12th fret of the E string, and then open, and then it's just up to the first fret, back down, open, and then 3, 1, open on the B string. And then you're back into the verse. So it's just this quick little riff. So I'll play it slowly. When it came to love, she was never around. She was out getting dirty. So there's that riff that comes in again. All over town. And you've played that riff before as well. And then deliver your children to the good life. Give peace and shelter and a fork and knife. Show the light in the morning and the light at night. Everything goes wrong. You've played that riff before too. You better make it right. So that's the opening riff. It just does that again. Actually, it does it twice. For my version, I only do it once, so that I jump into the modulation a little bit earlier than the Paul McCartney version. So the modulation will simply modulate from A minor to D minor. I was low on money, and my truck broke down. So that's D minor, F, C. Was on my way to the lost and A minor G. So I took it to a dealer. I said, make it run. Well, I ain't got no money. So D minor, A minor, D minor. But I ain't got no money. So it's kind of the same. It's exactly the same riff that you did in A minor, only now you're doing it in D minor. So it's the E string open, or the E string first fret, then open, and then the B string 3, 1, 3. I ain't got no money, but I got. So that's the E string open, then 3, 1, open on the B string, 2 on the G string. Got me a gun. That's kind of a difficult riff, not because it's hard, but because it's so similar to the to the transitional riff that's being used in the same section when you're in A minor. So first string, the E string, first fret open, first fret and then open. The B string, 2 and 1, but don't play it open. The G string, 2 and open, and then on the D string and the A string, 3, 2, 3, 2 open, 3, 2, and then back to the D string. And that makes that riff just it's not difficult. It's just a little confusing because it's so similar to another riff that you're doing in the song. So, and that gets you back into the second stanza, the second part of that verse. So, got me a gun. I said you robbed me before, so I'm a robbing you back. And it repeats exactly the same thing on that part of the verse. And then it'll end with that same riff. Only this time it goes down to the A instead of back up to the D. Deliver your children to the good life, and takes you into the chorus that way. Now I'm coming up to the main lead that's in the song, and that's kind of difficult to pull off solo because it sounds very hollow if you just play the lead as Denny Laine played it without a rhythm guitar going. Well, first he'll do this signature riff again. So in order to kind of fill that up, I'm playing chords and double stops around it, but I'm trying to keep the pick focused on the melody. And just remembering what those chords are in that section. So it's an A minor, so C to a G, and that's still an A minor, and then the E minor to the D. Those riffs before, and you've played that riff before, and then we're coming into the end of the song now, so we're going to do the chorus one more time, only when it gets to the end of the chorus it'll do something a little bit different, because usually it goes, and if the thing goes wrong, you leave that little riff out, you're just going to play the E minor. If a thing goes wrong, you better make right. Now here I'm departing a little bit from what they did, just for my own convenience. So I'm going to show you my solution. This isn't necessarily what Denny Laine did, but I'm just playing the A minor chord, or I'm arpeggiating it up to the open B. So 1, 3, slide up to 5. Then on the E string, 3, 5, slide up to 8. And then there's this riff that is in there. That's the way that I'm solving this riff is 12 on the E, 8, 10, 12 on the B, 8 on the E, 10 on the B, 12, 8, and then back down here, 1 open, 2 open on the G string. And then on the D string, 4, 5, 4, open, and then to the A minor chord. So I'm going to play that part very slowly for you. This is coming out of the last chorus. I'll play it more slowly. And then what Denny Laine says are his favorite lyrics in any part of any song. If you want good eggs, you gotta feed that hen. And if you want to hear some more. So that's just an A minor chord. So strummed, and then open B, second to open on the G, and the second fret on the D string, and back to strumming the A minor chord. And then there's this thing on the E minor chord, and you could solve that any number of ways. My way of solving that so that happens right, and I know it's going to be where I need it to be, is I'll bar the second fret on the on the A and D strings, and I'll hold the 4th fret on the G string for that exposition of the E minor. So 2nd fret open on the G string, 4 and 2 on the D string. So I'm going to play those 2 chords again. If you want good eggs, you gotta feed that hen. And if you want to hear some more, well, I'll sing it again. And then there's this final lead riff that I'm doing. So it's similar to the lead riff that I used at the end of the chorus. And again, I'm kind of departing from what Denny Lane did, but this is a solution that's just convenient for me. So I'm using that same riff, playing the 2nd fret on the D and G strings, open 1 on the B string, then 3 slide up to 5, 3, 5 slide up to 8 on the E string, and then 12, 8. Then when I get to this note here, I stow the pick real quick, and this is the only time I do that during the song, so I can pinch this and get the open E string down here, and the 10th fret of the E string up here. And then here's the Stairway to Heaven A minor chord. Going to add the little finger to the 7th fret of the E string and pull it off. And so you're ending on the beginning chord of Stairway to Heaven. That should give you enough to put this fantastic song into your repertoire. You just have to learn how to sing it and play it at the same time, both the rhythm and lead guitar lines. Not necessarily an easy thing to do. It's a whole lot easier to just play lead on it or just play the rhythm and sing. So, but this is a really fun song, and audiences respond to it well. And one of the nicest things about it is this big, open, Western American sound to it, even though it was written by an Englishman living in Scotland. So I hope that you'll enjoy this song. You'll be able to use it, and I hope that you'll come and visit me at www.robertbrucescott.com.